The market is in red, and a lot of people right now have the crash mentality. Now, what is the problem with the crash mentality, which is far from the truth right now? Because the crash mentality says we are going to zero and there is nothing which is going to be there in this market for you. But remember, if you look at the market, you kind of see some signs, and precisely we as XRP holders have a lot of stuff to understand. Now, yes, the market has been so hard recently. We were kind of thinking 0.62 mark and we dipped almost towards 0.54. That is reality. Then recently the wick even lowered to 0.51. But the market kind of gives you these ideas. It really shows you this, right? So we can calculate at least the trend and how it is actually moving towards it. So with the crash mentality, the problem is if the world is really going to end tomorrow, does it matter if you have too much liquidity? No. But what if the world is not going to end tomorrow? Then you have an opportunity to make money if you bet on the right side of it. Now, why do I say this? Because as we talk here, we can see a lot of people getting into debt to invest. And mostly, when you look at this particular tweet, you can see Gen Z is actually going much more into debt to invest. Now you can compare that with millennials, Gen X, baby boomers. Now that's so easy to understand here. If you are going into debt to invest, that's not going to be the right stuff. When the market goes wrong, it goes south, you're going to be wiped out from the market because of the leverage in time or money. Now push that into this market and look at this. If you are getting this opportunity to understand the altcoins are kind of wicking down, bottoming out, precisely for XRP, it has way extended. If you have listened to our previous videos, I was kind of giving you the idea that whenever you get a golden cross to the upside, the price usually come back, retest the moving average. Now, yes, I told that, and at the same time, I also told, but I think the 0.62 mark is going to hold. Now, I was wrong. The 0.2 mark didn't hold, but the concept which I learned from the charts and I gave you is always correct, right? The charts are always correct. So as it was crossing to the downside, the price went back and retested this cross in the bear market. Now here in the bull market, when we got the golden cross, the price went up, but it is now coming back to retest that zone. So that's how the market always work. So instead of just looking at opinions, let's just dive into the real charts and understand what the chart is conveying you. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Let's look at the market right now and see most of the coins are dropping. Now, when you say that, you also need to go there and look at this 24-hour fluctuation. Fine. Now, when you look at this 24-hour fluctuation, what you understand is there are some coins which went to green. Fine. But at the same time, if you look at the coins which dropped, we have a lot of them. Now, some are like 20, 15, like that. But the general aspect is to understand the 7-day fluctuation in this week. Look at these. How many of your assets are here in the top 5, top 10 range of fluctuation? Now let's come down and look at assets which have fundamentals, but it just got a haircut. The price dropped 30%, 35%, creating opportunity. Not everyone understands when opportunity pops up. Fine, that's how the market works. But when you look at this stuff, Bitcoin right now is 1.29 billion in buy and 1.24 billion in sell. So the market is kind of getting adjusted to that supply demand zone, even though the bias are a little bit higher. Now it's getting balanced. Say for example, Ether, when you see around $1 billion in buy and 800 million in sell, it's a little bit kind of, higher than that of Bitcoin on the buy side. But yesterday there was massively, the buy side was having massive increase considering the sell volume. Now look at the 24-hour trading volume. The volume has increased. That means a lot of money is coming into the market when we are dropping in price like this. So as I just told you, there is an opportunity, right? Now from here to next, think from here to next 3 months to 5 months, what we are eyeing is for a 20x from the bottom. Now, yeah, the bottom was a low, a wick. Majority of it didn't get to buy again at that time, but we are fine. Why? Because we bought way back in the days when XRP was like 0.2, 0.3, and our average is way lower. For us, it doesn't matter right now to buy more because we would be only averaging up. But if the market is showing us right stuff, we're gonna go higher to meet around $6 to $10 mark as we go up. Now let's put that into perspective. This one, the yellow box here, is the long wick to the downside. Fine. So when you actually went to that bottom, that's when the RSI dropped like this into the oversold position. Now, the next one happened after 300 days of consolidation, slowly grinding higher, blah, blah, blah. But it was like 500% to the upside, 467 to be precise. And then you dropped. And in that drop, we reached the low point here in the RSI, which again entered the oversold territory and then bounced back up. So look at this. Recently, when we were pumping the first time, that was the real panic area. And a lot of guys moved out of the market, and still we did not enter oversold territory in the RSI. But right now, if you look at the RSI, it's entering into the oversold territory on a daily chart. That means from last 1.5 years, we have entered that area just 3 times, and last 2 times was a reversal to the upside. Now, it was not immediate the next day after we skyrocketed. It's not like that. But it's bottoming there and moving towards the moving average range, trying the upper moving average, and then coming back down and then bouncing above the moving average, coming back into the moving average, making it as a support, and then grinding higher. So last time, it took like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 in that microwave of 3-wave structure and reached 500%. After which we dropped, and then you got like wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3 of 10x, right? So that microwave, including the 3 tiny waves, reached 10x. Before that, it's 5. Now, if you actually put that into perspective, we should be going like we doubled, and then next one, if we are doubling, that's 20x, and that's where $10 comes from. Now, say for example, you're not reaching there, you're kind of just going 10x from there, then you are like somewhere near $5, about $5 to $6 position. So even being conservative, and if your average is way lower, you bought in at 0.2, 0.3 range, and you are keeping your average low, that means from that position, you're gonna get towards $6, $5 mark, which is 10, 15x. Now that's not huge considering a lot of different assets, but that is significant gain in your portfolio. Now, just look at the weekly. Now we discussed about the daily chart. Now look at the weekly. We're kind of dipping through this, but you have to understand this week has still to go. This is Wednesday here, and you have to go through this day, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. So once you go through this entire week and close this candle, that's when the decision comes. Then, as we can see right now, the market went lower, agreed, but buyers were interested in buying this asset and pushing it up. Now we happen to see the same stuff here. We went a little bit up, retested this level and failed to go above and came back below. Now that's on a weekly ABC pattern. Now yeah, on the daily, 3-day, we didn't get this. We got the ABC pattern way before, but on a weekly, we are getting that now. Now that is really important because looking at the news cycle here, you also need to understand when you are seeing Bitcoin, mining farms, China banning and all, you need to understand, okay, that just happened. China banned, fine, but did the miners go broke? Did they stop mining? They just moved into another country. They are relocating. They are looking for renewable source of energy. That won't solve the entire issue of power consumption in mining, but for the time being, That's like a band-aid you're putting above that. That's a solution for the time being. For the long run, that may not impact. But in this market cycle, I think that's more than enough for a lot of speculators to say, okay, this is going to go higher and they're going to push the price in. Now here we are in indecision. Look at this. We created a higher high and then came down and created a lower low. So technically speaking, we are in an indecision, but before we were bearish. Now we are neutral. That's a change in the market sentiment from bearish to neutral. So what's next? Possibly bullish. So yes, I'm not a BTC bull, but the charts show that there is a possibility that BTC is going to continue higher. Fine. What does that actually make in BTC dominance? So as the BTC dominance is rising here, as we highlighted, now it's entering back into that resistance range where this one was the previous support here. This was previous resistance. Now we are ranging towards there. And if we happen to find resistance there, we're going to slow down. Now, we don't know whether we're going to slow down there or we are going back to retest this broken level. But chances are higher we would be having the retest somewhere here way before the trend line. Why? The moving average is slowing down. It's coming down. So when you go up, the moving average is simultaneously coming down. So instead of reaching this trend line here, the moving average is going to come down and that would act as a resistance, right? The price would enter into that moving average territory and then slow down. Chances are high by that time the RSI is going to reach the stop here. Then again, you're looking the trend to continue to the downside. But that's the strength index going to the downside. If you look at the MACD, which is an oscillator showing you that it's going to break to the upside, but it's still in the negative territory on a weekly. Now it's trending lower. I agree, because it's BTC dominance, because alts get more in each cycle. People understand, okay, it's not about Bitcoin, it's about the alts. Most of them which have a lot of potential than BTC. Then the number of altcoins are also substantially increasing. But remember, in a bear market, they're gonna get wiped out. Don't be in such coins when entering into a bear market. That's a cautionary symbol there. But here in XRP, we know the fundamentals. That's great. Now what we are looking at is something like this, which is not bad. It's really interesting for us. Look at this. The RSI first, here the drop, the low was like 27. Then we went up, we came lower, it was like 31. Fine. Then we went up, the low was like 37. We consolidated a lot of time and then came back, retested that level, got bounced. Fine. We consolidated a long time, moving up. Fine, great. Now we came back and we kind of touched that area where the price is also happening to have long-term support, resistance zone, where buyers are getting more and more interested in buying this asset. Now, that's a question for you to look at this. Say instead of a weekly chart, we can take a step further, enter into the 3-day chart and look at this. Fine. So what do we actually see? Okay, on a 3-day chart, it shows that the moving average, the 200-day moving average, is way lower. So if we are to come back to retest this one, that's going to be massive red candles, right? If you look at this here, when we broke about the moving averages like 20 and 50, we went towards the 200-day moving average and then got rejected from there. So that was in a bearish trend, right? So that means it bounced. So on a bearish side of it, that was fine, that was positive. You broke above the moving averages, you went towards the 200-day moving average. It didn't actually touch the 200-day moving average, but it got rejected, it got bounced. Similar stuff, if we are coming here saying, okay, the point here is the moving average was somewhere closer to 0.4, we came somewhere closer to 0.5. Now, if we are bouncing, that's fine. But there is also a chance that we may have a strong week like this, reaching there on a weekly and then coming back down. So the question is, are you there to vote or are you there to weigh? Meaning on a shorter time span, the market is a voting machine, whereas on a longer time span, it's really a weighing machine. So it weighs the fundamental in rather than pushing that vote of emotional, psychological traders. So if you are one among that emotional guy, it's really going to be hard for you to digest this properly. But if you are generally looking at the market to understand what is happening, This is what executives from Ripple, the company, stated before. We knew this is coming, and they knew what they were talking about. We knew that they knew what they are talking about, but the BTC maxes, we saw in one interview with Pompliano that Brad was asking, okay, what if China is going to ban this? And he's like, no way. And we all saw that meme which was created after, the reaction from Brad Garlinghouse showing, wow. Right? So that means right now it's happening, and he told that way before it happened. Similarly, this stuff. If you look at this, SEC is now accusing of another crypto project, Locky, of selling unregistered digital assets. Fine, so they are going against one after another. This is going to continue until we get proper clarity. Now, that's on the crypto side of it. But on the economical side of it, where the liquidity really matters, where we just saw that the youngsters are taking in a ton of debt to invest, when the economy is moving like this, where it's inflating, that's common stuff. Why? Because when you keep your fiat in your bank, you know that tomorrow it's not having the same purchasing power as today. It's, the inflation crisis is like that. It's kind of an unknown tax, but whatever we say, it's kind of moving into an area where everything is getting pricier day by day. So if you look at this, those who have money are buying assets. Those who don't have that, they are moving into buying new phone, new car, all those fancy stuff, which is depreciating in value on a regular basis. So that's why the wealth gap will increase and increase. Why the rich buy assets. At least if you're rich here, you're buying assets. So during the financial crisis, when the inflation is skyrocketing, your purchasing power is preserved or it's growing from there. Whereas the normal guys who bought in the fancy stuff, they are now bankrupt because inflation pushed it so low. If you bought something for $10,000 and it's worth $2,000 now, that's so bad. Understand that's happening. And if you listen to the Fed, they're highlighting, says the price increase seen in the economy recently are bigger than expected, but reiterates it's going to likely slow down. Most of the time, they get it wrong. Look at GFC, not KFC, GFC, the Great Financial Crisis. So when you understand that, you now should be prepared. Look at the reserve banks who are buying more gold. Why are they doing that if they believe the inflation is going to slow down? No, they're just saying that, okay, you don't have to buy assets. We'll buy assets. Look at Fed. It kind of owns 25 to 30% of the real estate market in US. Wow, that's a central bank owning a big chunk in the market. So when there is an inflation, they are kind of having hard assets. It's fine. But if there is going to be an increase in inflation, they'll have to balance it out with rising interest rate. They already, now, Fed, Australian Central Bank, all of them have came out and announced, we're going to increase this by 2023, fine. But the market will start pricing that in way before 2023, maybe 2022, but that's just a year from now. Now, we are in June, so it's just 6 months. Now calculate that into perspective and put your cryptocurrencies, that's also assets. If it's having fundamental, it's going to survive and you're going to bounce back up as we talk. So in that scenario, when you're getting this price drops and the asset which you really want to buy is getting that haircut, it's your decision whether you should buy into it, because the altcoin market is giving you that drop into the support range where it can slow down and move back up, because that's clearly what you see in the market right now. Altcoins may have a bit more drop because Bitcoin dominance have a little more to go up. So when Bitcoin dominance is rising, that's actually a bad thing for the altcoins. Fine, but that's not a daily step which is going to happen from here to next year. It's like a limited stuff. And then look at what now clearly understand this. Focus here. The impulsive move, the red candles, the number of red candles till the bottom, and the corrections is showing the impulses to the downside here. Then the correction, then again the impulse, then again the correction, but the impulse reduced here. So that showed you the market is reversing. You got a higher low. That was the confirmation. Now here you're not getting that. So that means you're going to go higher and then come back down, create a new low there. Think. That's an opportunity. If you understand that properly and receive value for your time here in the Scientific Investor channel, please do support the channel. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. That really supports the channel. And if you need these kind of analysis for different assets in your portfolio on timely basis when the price is dropping for you to take right decision, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Now, if you have 7 days to spare, I'll say join next month. Don't enter now because Patreon is going to charge you again on the next month. Then I'll have to refund you. You know, that process goes on. But if you really want to join the Patreon to get these charts and analysis and to know when I'm buying, when I'm selling, what my portfolio looks like, you can enter into the Patreon. So guys, I'll meet you in the next video. Bye for now.